Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Ultimate Fighting Squadron, Captain Ginyu Force, and seeing just how good they are at 100% the hidden potential system, but also Link level 10. Now, the Ginyu Force, as anyone should hopefully know, are a free-to-play character that's quite easily obtainable. They are difficult to obtain in that you need to invest quite a bit into the battlefield shop. You have to buy quite a few copies of the physical Captain Ginyu. You also have to buy their awakening medals as well. The whole process is quite extensive, but I want to see if it's still worth it and how well the unit holds up even after all this time. Now, the physical Captain Ginyu, in terms of build, predominantly was one that you wanted to look for more of a split hybrid build due to the fact that he boosted allies' defense and attack on his super. The issue now with him as a unit is unfortunately basically that although this is still helpful, his defense is starting to get to the point where it is a bit of a liability, especially in terms of super attacks. After super, he can still handle normals for a lot of hard content, but he's starting to feel it a little bit. So if you want to go a full evasion build rather, I don't see a huge issue in that, although just bear in mind that you are reducing his overall effectiveness. Now, of course, besides that, in terms of just like general performance, obviously raises attack and defense on 12 key, raises attack and defense on 18 key, whilst raising allies attack and defense by 30%. Key plus 2 attack and defense is 77%, and additional attack and defense at 10% per Ginyu Force category ally on the team, all of which is pretty good so far. All allies get key plus 3 and attack and defense at 30%, and he randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, physical excluded to rainbow. There's another Ginyu Force category ally in the rotation. So he does need a Ginyu Force team, and I don't think that's surprising to anyone, realistically speaking. I think ultimately he is a really good unit, but he is obviously quite limited. The Ginyu Force, fortunately enough, is not holistically limited, which is a good thing. There are quite a few categories, despite being only shown in the show for a brief period of time. In terms of his link set, he has Ginyu Force, Fear and Faith, Respect, Loyalty, Signature Pose, Shocking Speed, and Legendary Power. His best linking partner is the Tech Ginyu, and in terms of raw numbers, he puts up some pretty decent stats. Well in the mid 200,000s in terms of raw star turn defense. Remember, he raises attack and defense quite significantly on his super as well, and he's providing a lot of support and orb changing. So when he does his 18 key, he raises his defense quite substantially. So all in all, he can get well over the 300k and even over the 400k defensive mark, which honestly, considering everything, is pretty good. I think overall it is something that's quite meritorious to Captain Ginyu, and I think enables him to put up some pretty good numbers. In terms of raw attack stat, you get 8 million, and I think this is some good numbers to be around, even considering the huge jump in raw damage performed by a lot of units nowadays in Dokkan. I think when you couple his support and everything, he still is an incredibly viable unit for the majority of the game. I think he really looks quite impressive, and I think he does a lot of really good stuff. Obviously his defense is starting to age out slightly, and he's not hitting massive numbers, but when you consider how he got his EZA in 2022, so we're now over 2 years from his EZA, and this guy is still putting up very nice looking numbers. Obviously Link level 10 does help him a little bit, especially on the raw output side of things. You get crit, you get attack, you get a lot of important things from his link skills, but loyalty does give him 5% damage reduction as well, and you do get some defense from shocking speed. So there is a little bit of defensive gain, but the majority is in terms of raw offense, which is fine. He's not going to link great with any other non-Ginyu Force units, realistically speaking, but I think overall there is still the understanding that he is a very good unit. In terms of raw output, he still feels really good to me, and I think for me, I'm definitely quite happy with his functionality as a unit. He's a great unit overall. He's a really solid performing one, and you can't discount the amount of support that he gives the rotation. Of course, in terms of links and linking and pairing up with other units, you have to accept that he is going to be quite limited. As a unit, just on raw output, there are a couple of things that he is limited to. So you signature pose, Ginyu Force, these are very limited links. Even respect and loyalty, very limited. Shocking speed, legendary power, far more common. But ideally, if you're running him on a team, it's either like a Terrifying Conquerors as a support with a bit of Ginyus there to beef him up, or it's on a full Ginyu Force team, so realistically you're going to link well anyway. So for me, it's still a very, very good unit, and functionally still a really, really solid one. I think for me, you want to run him on Ginyu Force. That's obviously where he shines the most. I know it does limit him, but I still think he's a fun unit. And as a new player, or veteran player, having him as a unit in your box is only ever helpful. Ultimate Clash, you know, even some red zones. I mean, I used him in a ton of red zones, the beginning red zones. This guy is awesome. So don't discount him as a new player. He's someone you can still look to towards carrying your team and being a really solid addition to your collection of units. And of course, like I said, he links great with the Tekala, who's also free to play. So